Hey Rockstar, Steve aka Void here, and welcome to another episode of Dear VØIDy. It's been a little while since the last episode, and I'm excited to be back. Hopefully, this is all streaming okay. It's been a bit with the technical setup. I'm not 100% sure if everything's working, and I actually just remembered that I have another app here to read the chat. So if you are watching, let me know that you can see and hear me all right. And of course, it's asking me to log in, so I have to try to remember my login information. That's perfect. Okay, so let me know inside the chat if you can. Wherever you're watching, if you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching on Facebook, and let's see if I could remember how to log in over here. You're not seeing it on my screen, but I've got, I have to choose, it's like, put the password in, now it's asking, select all the images with traffic lights. This is exactly what you want to be doing when you are broadcasting. Oh, okay, cool, so I logged in. Yeah, let me know if you can see and hear me all right. I'm not sure if this is all connected here, but I'll just keep an eye on it just to make sure, just in case. All right, so welcome to the episode. Basically, Dear VØIDy is a show where I answer questions live. I get a lot of questions via email. You can write your questions void@rockstarmind.com and just put the subject line Dear VØIDy, and I get a lot of questions, and so I usually answer via email. Sometimes there's a lot of questions that come in, and so Dear VØIDy is a way for me to answer all of them, and also, you know, to hang out and show you some examples, things like that. It just makes it a lot easier. So nice, Matt, good stuff, buddy. All right, thank you for confirming. Okay, cool. So let's get into the episode. What we're gonna do is I'm gonna share my screen. Hopefully you could see this all right. Okay, hopefully you could see this. And one more time, if you could just, because again, it's been so long since the last episode, and if you could see Dear VØIDy on the screen, you should be able to see the slide over here. I think that's coming clear on my preview window over here. So let me just get that going here. And okay, cool. So first question, we're just gonna go through the questions here, and that's pretty much it. So, and actually, coincidence, Matt's question is first. So, Dear VØIDy, having energy to play. So we asked about, like, you know, what's this was an email I sent out to my email list, my Rockstar rant subscriber list, and basically I asked, like, what's your number one challenge right now? What's your number one challenge or question? And so Matt says, having energy to play and finding time to play at the same time. Working full-time while taking care of my family, which now includes a baby. Congratulations. From your book, I find at least 10 minutes a day to at least touch the guitar. I have one next to my bed. My chops are still fairly good and slowly improving, but my issue has always been learning songs. By the way, Matt, if you feel free to add to this if need be, and anybody watching live, if you're watching live, then you can ask some questions. And if you're watching the replay, then feel free to ask questions as well. I want to make sure that you're taken care of here. So, all right. First things first, I totally understand what it's like to have kids. I have 3 of them under 5 years old. 2 of them are twin boys, and it's a madhouse. I mean, it's crazy. Trying to do anything for you, and you know, especially as a father, I think it's tricky because, you know, everyone has different roles, and when you're a father and you're trying to get a whole bunch of different things going, especially, you know, something like trying to play guitar, it's sometimes tough because guitar isn't a quiet instrument necessarily, and there's fatigue that kicks in. There's a whole bunch of different things that are factors here. So the motivation part of it, like where, for example, like the energy, let's say the energy to play, you really want to, instead of trying to force something, like, so for example, instead of trying to match the skill or the hobby to I'm going to flip that. Instead of trying to match your life to the skill or the hobby, like things that you've done before, maybe you've played a certain amount in a week, like every single day, and maybe for like 3 hours a day. Instead of trying to match the hobby to your life to the hobby, like trying to force it, you gotta flip it. You gotta match the hobby to fit your life right now. And so what would that include? Now you're saying you have at least 10 minutes per day to touch the guitar, and what's important with that is making sure that you're doing something that's important to you. Like, sure, maintenance could be good, like you could just play some stuff that's going to maintain your skill, but ideally you'll be playing something that is going to be exciting, that you look forward to, because truthfully we have more than 10 minutes, like and you're saying at least 10 minutes, but we have more time than we think. And very often, if something feels like work, or something feels like it's going to be a headache, or there's just a puzzle that you can't quite solve and you're getting a bit frustrated, then you're going to kind of want to put it away, and you're going to want to do other things. So you'll find reasons not to pick up the guitar. But I think finding the time, like finding time, finding motivation, finding energy, all that stuff goes away when there's something that you're excited about. And so it's fine if you're not excited about anything on guitar at the moment. But if you are, then I wouldn't put it off. I mean, like, I would only focus on stuff, whether it's like you want to play solos when you were mostly playing chords, or if you want to play finger picking, if you're mostly playing solos before, like a new technique that you haven't focused on, or a new technique you haven't focused on in a while. There are a lot of different things that it's got to just feel interesting to you. There's lots of different areas. It might be a specific band, or you know what, like for example, in April, maybe there was an album that was released in April years ago that it came back on your radar, and you're like, I want to learn that whole album from start to finish, and that becomes a project. So that's another way that you could approach it, where it's just there's a thing that you're tackling and you chip away bit by bit, but it's purposeful. You're working towards something. And I think you were mentioning something about Elvis songs as well in your email, but it's just making sure that it's exciting to you, because right now you're probably exhausted and your brain probably isn't working. Like, if it's anything like what happened to me, like, man, I couldn't even lay down for more than 30 minutes or for 30 seconds without falling asleep. Like, there was a long stretch where I couldn't even be horizontal without falling asleep. So it's like your brain is probably taken a beating, and so you want to keep things fun and just go back to being a kid. Okay, you want to be back to being a kid and having fun on guitar. And it's not about necessarily like keeping the chops sharp. It's not necessarily maintaining anything. I would think more like a kid when it comes to this stuff here, and grow from there. But yeah, I would seriously, I would just consider, like, what are the most exciting things that I could do right now? Like, what are some fun things? And if you don't have anything, just shoot me a message, and then we can continue the chat from there. But it's really, you got to keep it fun, because like one of the prime examples, again, I work a lot and I'm super tired and I've got a really busy schedule, and I can make an excuse that I don't have time to do this or that or that or that. But recently I started getting so I'm a professional songwriter. However, like, there are some times where I spend a little less time writing. And anyway, recently I've made a point to like write a lot more, and I've been really inspired. And anyway, but in those early days when I'm like, okay, I'm gonna start to write more. Maybe it was a midlife crisis or something like that. I don't know. But basically, I sat down to write, and I just started getting on a roll. And it was like midnight, and it was probably a good idea to go to sleep, because I would need to be up at like 6 a.m. And so anyway, long story short, it was like 2 o'clock before I got to bed, because I was just on a roll and I just had so much energy for it. I could do it all day. I could write all day. I'm even reminding myself, like, why don't I do this more often? And since then, I mean, there's just been mountains of songs. This was like a few months ago. So since then, it's just been, undeniable. It's been a mountain of songs. But my point is that those first days, getting it going, it's like, are you doing something that's taking energy away from you? Or are you doing something that's feeding you energy? Because if the thing that you're doing on guitar, let's just say it was like modes, and you don't like modes, and you don't understand why you need modes, and so, but you were told that you should probably practice modes. If by the end of that session, whether it's even if it's an hour or even 10 minutes, if it's taking energy away from you, then that's an indication that it's probably not the thing you need to be doing right now. If it's feeding you energy, like the songwriting was for me, that imagining all the possibilities and getting excited and having fun and letting yourself get into a flow state, I could have stayed up all night. With songwriting, I could literally go the whole day without eating, especially when I'm writing with my partner Sean. Like, the chemistry is so good where there were days where we wouldn't even eat. I mean, it's crazy. So you got to do things that feed you the energy, all right? Oh, great, your son loves watching you play, so the baby isn't the issue. It's all the other, it's all the others. Yeah, I mean, it's cool. That's cool that the baby isn't the issue, or the baby loves watching you play. That's awesome. But there's still going to be issues with, like, surrounding the having a kid, and the sleep deprivation, and the interruptions, things that are out of your control. So yeah, I think that the best advice is just keep things to all the things that are going to feed you energy. Okay, and if you're stuck, just reach out. So hopefully that's helpful. All right, cool. Next question is from Steven. So, Dear VØIDy, my latest problems seem to be with how polished my performances come out sounding. Now, Steven didn't specify more about what, how does it sound unpolished, but I'll comment on this. I'll comment on it so that just from what I kind of like, I guess from what I think might be the issue, how polished the performances. So I'm guessing so they end up sounding unpolished, right? So unpolished performances, like what's unpolished? Maybe there are the timing is off. Maybe the tone is a little bit brittle or weak. Like it's just not right. The sustain, maybe the notes are kind of choppy. It's just not sounding smooth. Steven, if you're watching this, just feel free, reach out and let me know. Be more specific about what's unpolished, and then I could be more specific with my answer. But I think like the cop-out answer would be just like perform more, just do more. And I mean, sure, like doing more, that's cool. But if you don't know what you're working on, then it's not really going to be beneficial. So I would say make sure that I would model a guitar player who do you really like their sound? Like whose sound do you really like? Is it David Gilmour, or is it Garth Brooks, or I don't know, like who's the person that you're modeling, and then look at the equipment or the effects that they're using and the overall sound, and like, are you playing acoustic or are you playing electric? I mean, if it's electric, then definitely I would kind of rig the game in my favor. So for example, to smooth out the sound a bit, I would use some reverb and some delay if I'm playing some lead. I definitely use a little bit of reverb on chords. I'd make sure to shape the sound so that I'm like, how can my equipment help me in this situation where I could kind of polish things where the equipment is doing some of the heavy lifting, okay? For tone, typically people would say it's in your fingers. I mean, 50 people could play this guitar and all 50 will sound different. It has to do with how hard you press, how long you press, like just the overall flow, the timing. But I would say in order to practice, I would do less but better. So I would focus on like playing one song and make sure that so record yourself, watch yourself. Obviously, if you're a member of Guitar Inner Circle, then you post things, I can give you feedback. Like I have a mentor that's giving you feedback, whether it's me or someone else, making sure that someone else can hear what you're doing, and maybe they could hear things that you can't even hear, okay? It's very, very important to have an outside perspective. And that way, with smaller chunks, there's specificity, like on the verse of this song or on the chorus of this song, this is what we want to look out for. Or, instead of using your index finger here, the reason why it sounds choppy is because you're using the fingertip on both. So instead of just using the index finger tip, we want to use the index finger tip on one note and then roll down with the fingerprint on another, like things like that. And so this is where you might not know what you don't know. Like having a mentor can help you with that. Or you could also watch your recording and make sure you capture the whole camera or the guitar in the whole scene there, or in the whole frame, and you can watch yourself as if you're the coach, and you can get that objective opinion and do the critique and then work on something the next time. But I would say the inefficient way to do it is just play everything all the time and just hope that just with practice it's going to get better. It might, but it's probably going to take longer. I would focus on less but better. All right, hopefully that's helpful. All right, and by the way, I'm just also wondering, I mean, would it be cool if you guys submit videos to me, your question? You could also ask your question as, a video that you send me on the phone or something like that. And then, we could also make that part of Dear VØIDy. I'm totally down with that. Right now I'm just keeping it as text, but you could also record a video and I can give you some advice. So, all right, Dear VØIDy, my current issues are my own lack of patience, expecting to be better than I am, or the progress is slower than I'd like, which kills my motivation. Totally common, Craig. This is such a common issue. Motivation and patience, a lot of that is tied to results or lack of results. So when you're getting results, you don't really care about anything because you're happy, and you don't have to think about motivation. Like the results take care of the motivation. When you have fun, you don't have to think about motivation because you can't wait to get back to it. So whenever you have to think about something, then usually there's an issue. Like motivation is an emotion, really, like emotivation, like motivation, motion. Like it's not necessarily a thought. Okay, so to think to get motivated, like it's just not really a thing. So So if we're thinking about emotion, we have to be emotional about this. We have to think like, what's fun? What's going to be exciting for me? I'm not going to try to outsmart this. I'm going to try to like, I'm going to do things that are going to be fun for me and exciting and interesting. And similar to Matt's advice, those are the things, and results, again, results are exciting. Excitement is an emotion. So like results, that's what we're going for. So if we want to outsmart anything, like if we want to think about something, we want to think about strategy. How do we create a game we're guaranteed to win? And then that's what creates the results. And that's what is going to create the endless amount of motivation. Like you never have to worry about motivation, and you don't have to worry about necessarily about patience. Patience is a little trickier, but mostly like what's gonna fix everything is results. You know, they say in sports like winning fixes everything. Same thing with guitar. Like winning fixes everything. So results reinforce routines. They reinforce patience and motivation. And so you got to start thinking about how are you going for those results? How are you achieving those results? Is the strategy you're using, the method you're using, the resources, or that if you're using YouTube and tabs, maybe you have to go with courses, or maybe you have to take lessons, or maybe, again, like I mentioned, Guitar in a Circle, like have a mentor who's giving you daily feedback, things like that, things that are going to help you to get results, because the results are going to fix everything. So instead of thinking about how do I fix my motivation or my patience, I think that it's about how do I get results, and then that's going to fix everything. Okay, more efficient. And that's a father of 3 kids who doesn't have any time. So efficiency is everything. So you got to think, how am I going to outsmart the whole sort of process, the strategy, so that I can get the results, which is going to create the emotion, and it's going to take care of the motivation and all that. Okay, cool. So last but not least, we've got Scott asking, okay, Dear VØIDy, what episode of Mindshift was it where you showed how to copy a song but then change it to your own original song? Best thing you ever did. Oh, cool. Thanks, man. Anyway, can you throw me a link? Thanks. So, okay, Mindshift. I don't think it was Mindshift. I think it was probably Riff Starter. I'm guessing it was probably Riff Starter that you're talking about. Let's see. If you go to my page here on Facebook, so facebook.com/Steve, aka Void, then you'll see a bunch of posts on here. If you scroll down, then you'll probably see, like, okay, there's Dear VØIDy, Troll Talk, pretty funny. You scroll down to get to Riff Starter. For a while, I was doing Riff Starter. I think maybe all of season 2 was like this. But we have a writing episode. So we did a playing episode of Smooth Criminal, let's say, and then we do a writing episode in the style of Smooth Criminal. And then like other songs, Big Bang Baby by Stone Temple Pilots. I'd play on one week and I'd write one in the style of the next week. Under the Bridge. What other songs did I cover? Spirit of the Radio? Cool. Man, I forgot about all these. Writing in the style of, yeah, so I would just scroll through that because all of these showcase my power plan. And the power plan is something that I use for my own songwriting. Like I said, I'm a pro songwriter with, a couple of platinum records, and, I know a thing or two about writing. And again, efficiency, it's making sure that you're as efficient as possible. So having a framework is really helpful. And so the power plan is something that I use inside my Songwriter Studio program. And so power plan is where you're looking at other songs as references and you're modifying them to make them your own. Okay, so that's what I would look at. And I think something tells me I think it might have been like a Bob Marley song that I played one time. I don't know if that's the one that you're thinking of. There's a Bob Marley song that I think I don't remember where I posted it. It might have been inside the Practice Less Play More group on Facebook. I'm not 100% sure, but anyway, the power plan, the season 2 of Riff Starter, which I'm probably going to be doing some more episodes of Riff Starter, and yeah. Anyway, so on the season 2, we had playing and then we had writing. So playing on one episode and then writing on another. So I would have a look at that because that's going to give you the same techniques. So there might not have been the specific video that you were talking about, but on the Riff Starter episodes, especially the one where it's for writing in the style of, I think that'll be very helpful. All right, so that is the timer for me. I've got to shovel some lunch into my mouth before we have our hand solo guitar challenge call coming up at the top of the hour, and so I've got to prepare for that. However, again, if you have a question, you can email void@rockstarmind.com, make the subject line Dear VØIDy, and you know what? Also, feel free to record a video if you want to. Record a video laying out your issue, and you could also do it like that. Instead of typing, you could also record a video. And so I'll see if maybe there's like a simple way or an app that we can get going. Usually I use Loom, like in Guitar in a Circle and stuff. I use Loom. So you can check that out, Loom, Loom.com, Loom.com. So you could do that. Shoot me a link to the video. So you could do that. I'll also see if there's another video where you could, or another source that you could submit. But I think that would be cool to have videos that you submit over here. And yeah, I don't think that's going to be necessarily another show or anything like that. I think Dear VØIDy is the show. I mean, we already got the logo, we already got the intro. So anyway, wow, 20 minutes. Wowzers. Thanks everyone for watching. And cool, Matt, I see, yeah. Hey man, thanks so much. I appreciate you as well. Thanks everyone for watching. If you need any help with anything, just shoot me a message, void@rockstarmind.com. Subject line, Dear VØIDy, and then we'll take care of you. All right, so I hope you have a great rest of your day, and we'll chat soon. Take care.